What if one morning could change the lives of an entire family forever? What if the truth behind that morning remained clouded in mystery for years? This is not a story of rumors or speculation. It is a careful presentation of the known facts, timelines, and observations surrounding the life and death of Rebecca Zahau. Every detail, from her upbringing to the fateful events in the Coronado mansion, contributes to understanding the complexity of what happened. Rebecca's early life. Rebecca Maui Zahau was born in Myanmar. She moved to the United States as a young adult and settled into a life marked by quiet resilience, faith, and care for others. Friends and family describe her as gentle, reliable, and deeply compassionate. She worked as a nurse's assistant and maintained close connections with friends and her extended family. Rebecca valued her independence but was known for her warmth, especially toward children. She had plans, hopes, and a life that seemed full of potential. Arrival at the mansion. In early July 2011, Rebecca was visiting the Spreckels mansion in Coronado, California, as a guest of the Shacknai family. The mansion was vast, with multiple floors, balconies, and staircases, creating a complex environment to monitor. At the time, 6-year-old Max Shacknai, the son of Jonah Shacknai, was staying in the house. The family's atmosphere was tense, following previous incidents with Max's health, but on July 11th, a sudden tragedy struck. Max Shacknai was playing indoors when he fell near the pool area. Witnesses and emergency. Reports indicate he either tumbled over a railing or fell down a short flight of steps. The fall caused critical head injuries. First responders were called immediately. Max was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, and Jonah Shacknai, his father, spent hours by his bedside. Medical staff described Max's injuries as life-threatening. Rebecca and other household members were present that day. Reports suggest that Rebecca discovered Max after his fall and helped summon emergency assistance. Some observers raised questions about supervision in the house that day, including whether Max's mother had complete awareness of the circumstances leading to the fall. These early hours established a timeline that would be closely examined in later investigations. July 12th, hospital vigil and family anxiety. The family remained at the hospital overnight. Attending to maximum emotions ran high. Fear, anxiety, and uncertainty dominated the household. Rebecca spent time with the family and also communicated with friends, discussing Max's condition. Meanwhile, some relatives and observers began noting how complex the mansion layout was, who had access to certain rooms, and the potential for accidents. These observations became important later in understanding the environment, where the second tragedy occurred. On the morning of July 13, 2011, Rebecca Zahau was found dead on an exterior balcony of the mansion. The first person to discover her was Adam Shacknai, Jonah's brother. According to public emergency call records, Adam immediately called 911, stating he had found Rebecca and had cut her down before paramedics arrived. Rebecca's body was naked, her hands and feet bound behind her back, gagged, and a rope around her neck. On a nearby door, red-painted words read, "She saved him. Can you save her?" The scene was photographed and documented by authorities. The positioning of her body, the bindings, and the message became central elements in both public discussion and formal investigations. Witness accounts. Several witnesses reported seeing Adam near the mansion around the time Rebecca's body was discovered. Jonah Shacknai was at the hospital with Max, who was recovering from his fall. Friends of Rebecca expressed doubts about the circumstances surrounding her death, including speculation about the supervision provided by Max's mother and questions about who had access to various areas of the mansion. The timeline of events raised critical questions. Who discovered the body? Who was present in the house? And who was elsewhere? How long had Rebecca been alone on the balcony? Witness statements became key pieces of information for reconstructing the sequence of events. Forensic analysis. Medical examiners and forensic experts examined the body and scene. The bindings were complex, wrists and ankles tied behind the back, a gag in place, and suspension from a balcony. Experts debated the plausibility of self-binding in this manner. Bruises and marks on the head suggested trauma. which raised questions about whether injuries occurred prior to death or as part of a struggle. The red-painted message was also analyzed by handwriting experts, but the timing of its creation remained inconclusive. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department initially ruled Rebecca's death as suicide. The official autopsy listed the cause as hanging and the manner as suicide. However, the Zahau family disputed this ruling. They believed the evidence suggested the involvement of another person. Civil proceedings focused on Adam Shacknai. Evidence included witness statements, forensic findings, and family testimony. The civil jury found Adam civilly liable and awarded the family $5 million. The civil standard of proof differs from criminal cases, and no criminal charges were filed. The case exemplifies the tension between civil and criminal proceedings, especially in complex incidents with multiple interpretations of evidence. Analysis of key evidence. Bindings. The mechanics of tying one's own hands and feet behind the back and suspending oneself were questioned. Head injuries. Forensic experts debated whether trauma was consistent with self-inflicted hanging or an assault. Message on the door, "She saved him, can you save her?" remains ambiguous, with multiple potential interpretations. Witness placement. Adam was at the mansion, Jonah at the hospital. Friends observed and noted suspicious circumstances. Household access. The layout, locked doors, and entry points were critical in understanding how the events could have occurred. Public speculation and media coverage. The case received intense media coverage, focusing on the unusual circumstances, the painted message, and the complexity of the bindings. Analysts debated the plausibility of the official suicide ruling, considering witness reports, forensic evidence, and family statements. The presence of high-profile individuals in the household added to public scrutiny.